Recreational cannabis became legal in Maine in 2016, and dispensaries started selling it in 2020. And as it becomes more and more common, law enforcement officials say so is driving while under the influence of it.
Right, so in a report from the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety, out of all the OUI samples that were tested in 2023, 44% of them tested positive for cannabis. Our Leanne Stapleton is live outside the Portland Police Department this morning to share what officers there are seeing when they're out on the roads. Hey, Leanne.
Hey, good morning, Lee and Sharon. Now, while each state addresses cannabis use and driving differently, it is illegal in Maine to get behind the wheel after consuming the now legal drug. I spoke with a drug recognition expert with the Portland Police Department. That's an officer specifically trained to spot impaired drivers. He says he's seeing more and more people drive under the influence.
Cannabis impairment looks different in every single person.
Portland Police Officer Craig Knight says Maine is one of 18 states where someone cannot drive a vehicle if they've consumed cannabis.
Someone could be at that 05 and be completely fine and not show any signs whatsoever, and then the next person could be on the floor. That's why we don't use that here in Maine.
Maine currently has a zero tolerance policy when it comes to cannabis use and driving. In a recent national study by AAA, 84% of people surveyed said they consume cannabis and then drive. Close to half of the respondents say using cannabis does not affect their driving, with some even saying they feel they drive better. However, Officer Knight says, just like alcohol, cannabis can affect reaction time on the road.
Their time and distance perception will be off. Sometimes their speech will be slowed, slurred, thick.
And Knight says he not only has to worry about people getting high and then driving, but also getting high while they're driving, which is getting harder to spot.
It's your old-fashioned joints, which is very common, but you can use cannabis in millions of different ways: brownies, cookies, any form of foods. So it's a thing that we constantly have to try and stay on top of to see the trends on the road and then react to that, so we're not getting fooled, basically.
Even vaping has become an issue with liquid cannabis being available. Now, Officer Knight also says Portland police are seeing what they call polydrug use. That's when somebody's using cannabis and another substance like a harder drug or alcohol. Lee?
All right, Leanne, thank you very much. Appreciate that.